Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode, episode number 12 of Yellow Wall India podcast. My name is Kaustuv. Today I'm joined with Sujay, who will co host, and we have a very special guest from Bayern. We have Pratyush, who is the vice president of Bayern India Fan Club, as well as he's the social media handler who handles all the social media of Bayern India. So we had a pretty interesting result yesterday of UCL, and before that, a very good Klassiker game. The result didn't go our way, but it was a very good game. So we'll touch upon everything, but before that, I'll let Pratyush introduce himself. So Pratyush, go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. So this is Pratyush. Thank you, Costa, for such a warm welcome. So yes, the Classicer was pretty nice. It is always good to be on a winning side. And regarding my introduction, so I have been working with Bayern India from I think starting 2015. So we set up Bayern India fan club in 2014. Rohit did it, and then I joined in 2015. So since then we are trying to grow, not only for Bayern, but also we are trying to help other Bundesliga fans and fan clubs to grow, so that we can match the popularity of other leagues, because Bundesliga is passion for us, along with Bayern.
Yeah.
So that's how we are trying to work. And apart from that,
Winning the league to make it more popular.
can you please come again?
I said you'll have to start winning the league to make it more popular.
You have to win the league to make league popular. It is
Correct.
not that we have to lose. You have to win.
Correct.
Yeah. So not everything is on us.
Right.
This thing I'll definitely say I've met Rohit as well. I mean, Pan India has this, which Pratyush was talking about, that they want to promote Bundesliga. That was the first thing which even Rohit told me that he was happy that there is a club, a Dortmund's fan club, and together we can really take the Bundesliga ahead. So that was a very good thing and a very warm thing to hear at first. He helped me when we met for the first time in the screening, I think so, for the Classicer, when
Yeah.
I
Right.
think so Max was also there along with Patrick. They both came to Delhi, so that was a pretty good thing. So talking about the winning, Pratyush, what was your reaction about the Classicer which just happened? I think so Dortmund fans were elated till the first 20 minutes. I think so that was very unexpected from for every one of us. I think so that wasn't expected even by Bayern. I think so the way Dortmund played for those first 20 minutes.
Uh, I'd be very honest here. See, I expected goals. We have been very creaky this season. Our defense has been leaky. I think we are the third worst defense in the league. So we were always mentally prepared that Dortmund will hit us, especially Erling Haaland. That guy is a machine, man. You cannot stop him. So it was written on the wall, on the stars, that yeah, he's going to score against us. But the way the intensity with which you guys played in first 20 minutes, yes, it really shell shocked us. Not only us, even the team which was playing on the field. If you could see, for the first 20 minutes, we were unable to settle, and there were quite a few missed passes from our players. But if you go by the trend from last year and a half, you would see we first 15 minutes of Bayern's play is always creaky. It's creakiest. I mean, it's a very dirty play. Those 15 minutes. If you recall versus Lion, DP literally scored 1-1 in semifinals. So I mean, then David Alba on goal against Barcelona. So we have been creaky in first 15 minutes, and your management really sensed that, and they hit us in those 20 minutes. But to come back and win 4-2, it was something extraordinary, because for last 45 minutes we were up on the game, and then Erling Haaland getting substituted, that didn't help your cause.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd like to add something to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, for the first 20 minutes, I think our play was amazing. We read the game really well. After that, it's the typical Dortmund fashion to just bottle our leads. We just went into our own passive shell, and the passes were not going our way, the balls were not going through. So I mean, that's one thing that I felt, especially in the second half.
I think so. I'll agree with what Pratyush also said about Haaland. That was something which I was also coming to. His impact was very good. And I think so that injury which he sustained during that time, especially considering the UCL game was also around the corner, so Terzic didn't want to risk him. But what do you make about Haaland? You have already told that he's a machine, but you guys also have a machine in form of Lewandowski. He scored a hat trick, I think so, in Clasica. So what do you think about Haaland? Seeing him, considering you have Leva at your side as well.
To be honest, I would like another leva to happen for us. Okay. On a serious note, I mean, into whichever club he goes, I think he will leave Dortmund. To be honest, so that is going to happen because given the finances of Bundesliga clubs, it's really very tough for clubs to retain high top talent. So that might happen in some more time. But I would really like you guys to retain him for at least 1 year more. And I would like him to see under Marco Rosa because he started at Salzburg under Rosa only. So I would like to see how he grows and how it works under him because if he stays there for 1 year and you guys get a good window next summer, you can really challenge us for a title. So it would be really a wonderful thing if Erling Haaland would stay. And given his impact, I mean, that guy is phenomenal, man. He's just not a striker. He's a complete package. He makes those runs between the lines runs. Then he is a playmaker. He drops deep. Then he starts the very dangerous moves. And then he is on the end product of that. That is scoring the goals. And then he always helps his team in defending. He tracks backs very well. So that guy, if he remains injury free, he is literally the next big thing of football.
Yeah, I think we hear this comparison coming on now. Like we have Messi and Ronaldo from our generation. The next generation is going to be Mbappe versus Haaland. You know.
I'll be honest, like I never went into a debate between Messi and Ronaldo. So these two are my,
Well, like
yeah,
fans,
fans, yeah,
like
yeah,
fans
yeah.
were divided on
That's
those two.
that's right. Media has already
Yeah.
started to circulate their new, media needs clicks. They need people and come to discuss something. That's how it works. So they have to, push a story. So that's how this new narrative is being pushed. But on like, I'm that kind of person who likes to enjoy every player. I don't like to go into comparisons. I have my own favorite. But when people go too much into debates and they start seeing this person as this liability, he doesn't perform on this stage, he perform. So that kind of degrades the player. So that really should not happen. And I never debated in for Messi versus Ronaldo, and I don't think I will be a participant of Mbappe versus Haaland.
Right. Paritosh, I have a question for you. I manage the page for Yellow Ball India on Instagram. So both of us come from social media backgrounds on this podcast. So if you could share your experience about managing the Bayern India page and how it's been so far.
You really sometimes I like when I started managing social media pages, it was like a kid in me who was showing the passion, what I felt after the match, what I felt in between the match. I was feeling so that's what I was. So it gave me a platform myself to show how I felt. But it always were in the limits because Rohit and I would set the rules like how it should be and how we have to. Since we are the official fan club, we have to act like one. So we never degraded anyone. But yes, it was really on those lines. But as we grew into the role, so we started to analyze how the things work on social media. So what are the things that picks up and what are the things which do not pick up. You must have known that if you post something on Instagram, so that need not to be hit on Twitter as well. you might not get that kind of response on Twitter. But if you put something on Twitter, so it might not be a hit on Instagram. So you really have to understand which post will work on which particular platform. And last year, I think I contacted Kostab as well regarding our Bring Back Bundesliga campaign. So we actually pushed that campaign from our Bayern group because we needed Bundesliga to telecast it, especially when the German clubs had performed so well in UCL. We were the finalists, and we went on to win the Champions League. And Leverkusen, I think they reached quarterfinals of Europa League. Leipzig, they were semi-finalists. So we really had good performances. And when we came to when we knew that Star deal is expiring, and from our sources we came to know Star is not extended the deal. So that was really a very, very bad moment for us. Then we people decided that let's run a campaign and see where we land up. And I think I'm not sure if you guys know or not. We even contacted Phil Boney, who is a commentator in Bundesliga. You might be aware about him. So we contacted him. We contacted Derek Ray. So everyone actually retweeted our tweets, and they were following us. And on the first kickoff, that was Bayern versus Schalke, the league kickoff in late September, Phil Boney even mentioned in that particular match. He said, "I am really hoping that in our Bundesliga Indian fans have got their telecast and they are able to watch us live." So that was really some moment for all of us. Just not for Bayern, for every Bundesliga a fan who was involved in that. So
Yeah.
that was something really we achieved together. So that's what I call the power of social media. So we know that there's a lot of racism and all those things going around. But if you act maturely, there are certain things which can be achieved through social media. Everything has pros and cons, but you have to look on pros. So it really gives a platform to be in contact with everyone. You know like what is the vibe of people, how they are feeling after match, after a certain stage of the league. uh, so I try to look on the positive sides of it.
Yeah, I'll add to that what you were saying about Phil Boney. I think so. Our club also came back and were really praising that both of us really took it together and really led that moment. And I think so many Phil Boney has also followed us back when we retweeted that tweet. I think so he realized that there is a Dortmund club also in India. So he had replied to us also, I believe, and and he's following us now. So yeah, I agree with you that together, I think so it's a good representation to really get something and take our voice forward together. So that was a very heartening thing to see, especially during the COVID time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Talking about the game, I think so. I'll just ask few of the fan questions which were there. I think so. Dortmund guys have been pretty lenient on you this time around. I think so. They've asked few easy questions, but I'll ask you. If they are generic questions, I think so. More specific to how Dortmund fans have seen Bayern. I think so. So one of the main thing I think so which Bayern and Dortmund both face is that both the clubs they take the best talent out of the Bundesliga and in their team. So as a fan, how do you really respond to these things when people say that you are like your team really takes the best talent, like similar to what Dortmund also now faces when it comes to transfer windows?
I keep it very simple. So when you are working somewhere, you always want to be top of it. So if I am working in some company, I expect promotions. I expect good hikes. I expect good good working environment for me, best conditions for me. So that's how footballers are. So that's how it is to be at end of anything. And it just do not happens in Bundesliga. It happens all over the world. It happens in every league. So my first question when somebody said, "From where did you get Robin and Percy?" Right? From where did Chelsea get Cole? Right? So these things are bound to happen when a footballer sees there is some ambitious club who is approaching them. He has a good growth option there. Like, because learning is never ending process. If you listen to Lewandowski today also he says he's working to improve his finishing. So there is no peak. So you have to sustain that particular peak. You have to stay there. So footballers have to work hard. So I will take the example of Leon Goretzka. He came from Bochum, which is now currently playing in two Bundesliga. Then he went to Schalke. He developed there. Then he came to Bayern, where his first like few, I say 1.5 years, he was not a huge hit. He had constant injuries. Then we were also having trouble times under Niko Kovac. So there were a lot many things involved. But if you see him after January 2020, that's how you grow. So everyone looks for the growth. It is not just Bayern or Dortmund. Every club does that. Every club. I can take out many examples. We have many cases where bowlers have transferred, and there have been some tapping as well. Even Chelsea was fined for tapping and Ashley Cole that time when he was transferred from Arsenal. So these things are not new. It is just people always try to look in the negative sides, and they want to pick up the things and they want to throw the dirt on you. And that's what it is all about. It is nothing more than that.
We have another question from Pranay. He's asked you if you think this is the best Bayern team that there was.
That will be a bit nostalgia moment for me because I always loved our 2013 team, which won the treble that time. Because I compare the circumstances of what we were in this season and what we were. We lost the league to you guys in 2012. Then we lost the Champions League final at home. Bastian Schweinsteiger missing the penalty, the most crucial penalty, and then we bounced back and we thrashed everyone who came into our way. So I actually personally I rate 2000 team a bit higher than this, but there is no way that this team is any lesser. But it's just as a follower, Bastian Schweinsteiger has been my idol, so he's my favorite baller. So to see him lifting the 2013 Champions League title, so that was some moment for me. So I always rate 2013 team better.
Okay. I feel that's very true because that season, literally, Bayern was unstoppable. Uh, be it the Champions League and be it the domestic league, they were just on fire. So yeah, completely agree with you there.
Talking about the league, I think so. Uday has asked you one thing that what are your thoughts about the Bundesliga like right now compared to how the standings are and how it is like we are termed as Farmers League by English fans, but ironically the stats tell a different story right now. So what do you think about the Bundesliga? How do you see it being a Bayern fan?
See, Bundesliga has always been competitive. It is just we come out at top from last 8 years. In some seasons where we won the league by 20-point margin or 30-point margin. So if you remove that thing under Pep, this league has always been competitive. I still remember last year, I think the league was decided on the last day of the Niko Kovac when you were under Favre and we were under Niko Kovac. You guys were leading us by 9 points, and in the end, we trumped you on the last day. And last season and as well, it was a pretty close league. Although at the end of the season it didn't look like, but prior to Der Klassiker, I think we were leading the top by only I think 2 or 3 points. Then that Kimmich goal which came, that 1-0 win that changed the momentum, and we ended up winning I think by 7 or 8 points. And then this season as well, I can bet that Nagelsmann is not going to give up this league. I mean this time is going to come hard at us. And tonight they have a tie versus Liverpool, and I don't think they will be. With all due respect to Leipzig, it will be very hard for them to turn that, overturn the lead. The deficit, it's too huge, 2 away goals, and you didn't score goal, you didn't score any goal, so that is going to be a tough task for them. Although Liverpool are struggling, so by assuming that, I am, thinking that it's pretty given that Leipzig are going to come hard at us, very hard. And secondly, from last 2 seasons, we have not defeated Leipzig. We have met them twice, 4 times, and our all 4 games have been a draw. So I don't think Leipzig are going to blow away this this title offense of theirs. So league is in pretty much tight hands. So it is anyone's game. So it is not going anywhere. It is just Dortmund has slipped a bit because of their Blur Sayer and there, and then you guys made Erling Haaland, who has been literally a force for you. So that has impacted. Otherwise, this season it could have been a 3-way league championship, and it is still anyone's game. I am not saying that we are going to win it, because if you guys watched Leverkusen versus Leipzig, no, Glava versus Leipzig, so they were 2-0 down at halftime, and they won 3-2 in the injury time at the last kick of the game. So they are going to come hard. And given the quality, I asked the same question to Phil Boney as well, that we are called Farmers League, and his answer was very simple. I still recall it. Then he say, when you call us Farmers League, then why do you come to buy in Bundesliga? Why do you want to buy farmers? Right? So it's just a made up thing. And if you see English Premier League, in last 4 years, there have been only 2 champions: Manchester City and Liverpool. And last 2 seasons, and including this season, I'm saying the lead has been too huge. League has finished way back. I think some 4 to 5 match days prior to the final match day of the league. So these are just made up things. Just because Bayern wins, people take it for granted. They don't see our struggles. They just see big scorelines. They do not see the matches in which we struggle. Uh, so it's people who do not really follow the league. So they are the ones who comment like that. If you meet the people who actually watch football, no one will say that. Even I do not say it to any other league. But if it comes to banter, then obviously I throw everything I have in.
Okay, so addressing the last fan question, this one comes from Vaibhav. And the question is, if Müller was to leave Bayern Munich, then who do you think would be a viable replacement for this job?
That's a pretty tough question, man. Thomas Muller is Mr. Bayern. You just do not replace such personality. It will have to come naturally. So actually, we were having a discussion in the same discussion in our Bayern group. There were people who were saying we might have a next Thomas Muller in Jamal Musiala. So actually, I was first one to point that do not put pressure on the lad. Let him perform. If it comes natural to him, he will be Mr. Bayern. I mean, he will be the lifeline of our club. But let's do not push anyone, because Muller, in its form, he is irreplaceable for Bayern. What he does on the field and off the field, he is a born leader. He's actually born in Munich, actually in a village near Munich. His grandfather was a Bayern fan. His father was a Bayern fan. So that guy is out and out Bayern. You just cannot pick that guy out and replace someone else and expect him to perform at that level. That is not going to happen.
Big challenge that is about to be put for both Dortmund and Bayern in the coming times when Lewandowski and Müller retire, and when Marco Reus retires for us. There'll be a big leadership crisis at both the clubs. So I think you very correctly pointed out that only time can tell who will take that position for being the next big player of the club. But yeah, as of now, even I think that as a Dortmund fan, I can't see anyone replacing Marco Reus anytime soon. Also, I'd like to hear your voice on it as well a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. What Pratyush was talking about Muller, I think so. As you said, Marco Reus is someone who is similar to that stature for us. I think so. in and out. We can't look at anyone else when it comes to Marco Reus and Dortmund. I think that they both are inseparable. And I think so that will be something which will be interesting to see, that era when loyal players. I think so loyalty is something which is missing now across all the leagues. Very few players are there who are loyal to their club. This is the final breed, if to say so. And let's see like who can really replace that and bring that loyalty factor, because this is something which is relatable for us, seeing Royce and their Muller. Because I've seen Muller since the time I've started following, and I think so he hasn't even grown old. He looks the same and he plays with the same intensity, and always brings his energy, especially during the last season when people were really criticizing him, but he really turned it around and really was leading from the pack from ahead. So I think so it will be interesting to see how it goes. But talking about what Pratyush was saying about Bayern's, what he sees as he sees Bundesliga, I think so he was giving nightmares to all the Dortmund fans, recalling all those moments, especially that Kimmich goal. I think so that I'll never forget. It keeps coming and it keeps haunting me every time. So yeah, but yes, I think so that point of competition and struggle which no other fans see. I think so very, they just see from outside and say that okay, Bayern has won, but that journey and how Bayern is being consistent, and also how other teams are also coming up now, considering the rule which we have of 50, the 50+1 rule, and considering that, I think so that those things other club fans don't really appreciate how it is, and they will not understand unless they watch the game and understand how the league is. That is how I have also faced and explained to English fans as well, that this is something which is totally, they cannot really understand this rule, and they say that why do you have this. So I'm proud that the league is fan
You
centric.
cannot actually sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, yeah, go
Actually,
ahead.
you cannot really expect them to understand. If you see the TV fee, the TV revenue which we get, so Bayern is the topmost earner in the TV revenue in Bundesliga. So that's pretty much understandable, right? But the TV revenue of Bayern is equivalent to 20th place EPL team. I mean, so that's some hard fact which rich clubs won't understand. Aston Villa spent 150 million in last summer. I mean, you won't have you won't see even Bayern Munich spending 150 million in one go. So
Yeah.
every league has its own good things, bad things. And if you really love football, you should just simply stick to that. You should enjoy watching football instead of throwing dirt at other clubs and other leagues. So that's something I really do not like.
I'll quickly like to take your thoughts on something. What's your opinion on the refereeing decisions made during the game that was played on Saturday? I mean, we've heard a lot of complaining from our fan club about it, so I just wanted to know what's the bad side of the story.
I think all the decisions were 50-50, starting with the Marco Reus handball. So if you guys saw that, it was a clear handball for us. His hand was completely away from the body, and it touched his shoulder. So when it's away from the body, it's a penalty. Yeah, so that's what the rule book says. And then the one which Emre Can and Marco Reus were complaining after the match, which gave us a third goal. So that again was a 50-50 challenge. It could have went anyway. So the referee was actually, he was not unbiased. He did give wrong decisions, but it was on the both sides. It was just not Dortmund who suffered. Even we suffered. We could have got the penalty and we could have won 3-2 at the break, but that didn't happen. So refereeing was not a top notch because Bundesliga is actually known for the top refereeing. The way the VAR has been implemented in Bundesliga, how the referees are. I watch other leagues. No other leagues come closer to Bundesliga. The quality of refereeing is too good, man, too good. If you see VAR making decisions in the English Premier League, you would actually call it a Farmers League, like what those guys do.
Yeah, it's
So
damn hilarious.
yeah, so it was, I won't say it was top notch, but it was 50-50. If this didn't went your way, it also didn't go our way. So it was on the both sides.
I think so. It will need a whole new episode to discuss these things. It can be altogether a new topic to discuss. But we'll end the podcast with one question. We'll keep Pratyush on spot as we always do. All the members who come on the podcast. Where do you see the German league teams in UCL? And do you see yourself winning the league this time around? I think so. You have answered the second part, but do you see Bayern winning, going across the finish line?
It will be really tough. It will depend a lot on injuries because we are known for our cursed injuries. At the crucial times, we always get injured. Last time we were lucky. We were not lucky. Benjamin Pavard was injured just before the knockouts, but we had someone like Joshua Kimmich who is there to fill up any spot. So we were able to fill that up. So we were known for our injury-ridden tournaments. So in case we are able to avoid the injuries, which would be very rare given how the schedule is right now. So just before after this week and then the Champions League, we have international break coming up. Then sadly players are getting infected by the virus. Thomas Muller, Benjamin Pavard, Nicolas Sule, or everyone has suffered once. So it will depend on lot many factors. But I would really wish to see a Dark Classic and UCL final and us lifting the title.
I agree with the first part which you said. I was gonna say that, but let's keep that reserved and let's hope that this time Dortmund takes that after 2013 UCL final.
Absolutely. I mean, the Classic and the UCL final will be a dream for us, to be very honest.
Bundesliga fans, across the world.
Here you go. I think
Okay,
so.
so I guess
Sums up the episode for us. Really like to thank Pratyush for coming up and discussing and giving his input. I think so. It's for every Bundesliga fan. I think so. He'll enjoy this podcast, considering we have both the sides giving their options on across different things. So I thank Pratyush again for coming and sharing his thoughts. And let's hope that next time around we'll have even more Dortmund and Bayern fans on discussing for even lengthier time period. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Costa. We'll try for that. And thank you so much for inviting me. It was really a privilege coming to your podcast. So let's keep the Bundesliga flag flying in Europe.
Yeah.
yeah, good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you. And for everyone who's listening to us from home, please follow our social media pages. We're omnipresent everywhere with the name of Yellow Wall India. And I'd like to thank Pratish once again for coming today. And wherever you are, stay safe. The pandemic is not over yet. Wash your hands, maintain social distance. And up until the next episode, see you next time. Bye bye.